Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 75 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with a full video releasing on Friday. To catch updates about the podcast or for other news, give us a follow on your social media platform of choice, listed in the description below. I'm your host, GM, and overseer of Podcast of Five Rings, Obsidian, joined tonight by the Dark Fortune Duelist Meta.
Hey, what's up? I'm just sitting here doing stuff. How are you?
I'm good, Meta. Thanks for asking.
Good.
And the resident wildcard Mao.
Yo.
And Tetsuo is not with us. He had his baby yesterday.
He did.
So he's going to be a busy dad for a while.
Another soldier in the fight against the Shadowlands.
Those are his words, not ours, by the way. We would never subject a newborn child to those horrors.
Look, obviously they have to grow up sometime.
The crab got to grow up really fast, especially.
Yeah, they have to really fast.
So it's Valentine's Day, the day we're recording.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know Meta's the only one with plans.
I'm the only one with plans. Nothing crazy.
I got my date with Jose Cuervo. That's what I've been talking about.
Jose Cuervo will never leave me.
There's they just released a new Fanta that's green apple flavored.
Really?
And it goes really well with tequila. So that's what I'm drinking tonight.
I love green apple flavors, but they are sometimes hit or miss depending on where you get it from.
Yeah, this one's not bad. I mean,
Fanta's always been pretty strong in its flavorings. I kind of like that about Fanta.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll have to try their green apple now.
Get it while it lasts.
Yeah, right.
Before it's gone.
I always
Don't
hated
succumb
that.
to the inferior pineapple.
I always hated that, like seasonal flavors. I'm like, really? Just keep it around all the time. You literally make this flavoring with chemicals. You can't.
How's Taco
There's
Bell
no
going to get you to
story.
come back for the nacho fries, Meta?
always hated
They're unironically worst item on the menu, and yet they market it harder than anything else.
I just love my Baja Blast, and I go to Taco Bell. What?
Please tell me you're joking.
No, I love Baja Blast.
God,
I love that
Meta.
flavor.
No.
I love that flavor. It's the right flavor to choose.
What about Gamer Fuel, dude? I got my Halo
God.
Mountain Dew.
No, I don't like Gamer Fuel.
Not really.
The flavor, you know what? Honestly, though, that flavor's really silly because Live Wire is essentially that flavor.
Yeah, it's just like I think it's cherry as opposed to orange.
It's got a cherry flavoring on it. It's still like an orange flavoring. It's just got cherry in it. And spices. It's almost like the Dr. Pepper for Mountain Dew.
So many flavors. Who gives a shit?
So
at this
many
point?
flavors.
I like the
Bring
grape
everything
one.
in.
Grape Mountain Dew is best Mountain Dew. The blue one's fine too.
What?
You don't like the blue one?
No, I like the blue one. But
Okay, I was about to say everybody loves the blue one.
I was gonna say, but you said you like the grape one.
Yeah, the grape one.
Is that the
black something? I don't remember what they call it.
Blackout? It's called Blackout. I think.
Yes, that's my favorite.
That's the one that beat Baja Blast, and that's why we can never be.
But it's not the American flag one. No one likes that one.
Oh no, I've never tried that one.
Not really into any of them.
It's just red, white, and blue.
I think I like Code Red the most, but I don't drink. I like Coke and Cherry Coke are like the only sodas I can really tolerate.
We'll judge them on the aesthetics of the bottle, Mal.
You judge them. Gotta judge them from the art perspective.
Well, I
Use
want
your
it to be
discerning
red
eye.
then, like the blood of my enemy.
All right, there you go. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a
I
good
asked your
reason
opinion, and you gave it.
There you go.
That was our first topic, sodas.
I know, right?
No, right? We just went right into soda.
Dude,
a good
I mean, I could
topic.
rant about it forever if you want.
topic.
We could do soda industry.
We'll do
I
soda
don't
industry.
care.
There we go.
It's
That's the new
Valentine's
topic
Day.
right
Who
there.
gives a shit? All
You ever
right.
seen them make? Or you ever seen them how they make the 2-liter bottles and stuff?
No, I've not actually.
Yeah.
It's like a little test tube piece of plastic, and then they just use enough pressure and air to blow it into
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like a tiny
Oh,
little
wow,
thing.
that's
and it
neat.
goes,
tiny little thing, and then it just expands out into this
Yeah.
bottle. I'm like, I had no idea.
It's pretty neat to see.
And to think, I went to the Coke
Crazy.
bottling plant when I was in elementary school because it's in town, and I don't remember that happening.
Do they still have? Were you just like when they said Coke bottling though? But were they just metal? Were they are not metal? Wow, glass.
I think I remember cans more than anything,
Okay.
but I don't. We were literally in like first grade, so that's a while ago, 25 years ago. So
Tempting to keep your memory from first grade is hard.
yeah. I just wanted Coke. That was all I cared about when we went there. I didn't care about how anything worked.
Where's the Coke?
It would have been much more fascinating if it was like middle school when we went there.
Probably.
But, anyways, well, I mean, let's ditch this Coke talk.
Yeah,
it's not interesting. Let's get into some
real meat.
Let's go from something light and fizzy to something heavy and filling.
Oh man,
you're up first.
I don't know. Carbonation is kind of filling, so maybe you're not going as far as you think. But it is kind of heavy. Obviously, if you haven't been paying attention to anything at all
in the past few months,
yeah, right. It's been building up to this. Blizzard finally went around to releasing a large number of their employees. Just this, I think Tuesday or Wednesday was it?
I think it was officially yesterday, Wednesday.
Yeah, quote unquote. No, looking at I think from the NASDAQ, it shows Tuesday.
Okay, one of those days.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was like
12th.
Broken yesterday, like confirmed finally.
Yeah, the 12th is where it took the mightiest of plunges. So it's obviously this has had a pretty big, large effect around just about everywhere within gaming outlets and
yeah, Jason Schreier broke it on Tuesday.
Yeah, he'd been tweeting about it all week. So.
Oh yeah. You've got, if you look, I mean, if you just search it up, you've got Variety and Game Industry Biz also making
8% of their staff, roughly 9,600 employees.
Yeah,
means nearly 800 people are now cut off.
Mm-hmm. It's a hefty size. They did only take from apparently non-game development groups.
Yeah.
So anybody, essentially that means like community esports got really gutted.
Yeah. Blizzard went pretty hard on it, and it didn't really work out for them with Heroes of the Storm. And Hearthstone was pretty successful, but they just didn't really do enough with it, probably.
Hearthstone has also been on the downswing, though, I believe.
Yes. It's only, I think, as Tuesday last checked, it was only at 23K views on Twitch, which is not bad by any means.
No.
But considering that originally pulled in, it's a pretty hefty.
Them cutting community though is probably not a great sign either. It just means they're probably going to just listen to their community less and less.
Yeah, that's another issue.
Yeah, not essential to them.
All
of their service games, you would think community should be pretty important.
Yeah, I think is Blizzard the company that we probably most crapped on this podcast? It's either them or Capcom.
Like lately, I think
them, Capcom, and Squeenix, I think, are the big three that we crap on typically.
EA.
EA's been pretty bad. Blizzard, unfortunately, I think has probably had the most in recent.
Blizzard is EA, right? Activision.
It's
Is Activision part?
Activision.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really weird because Blizzard got bought by Activision, then Vivendi took over, then Blizzard bought themselves out with Activision. It's really weird. But essentially, as far as it matters, the Blizzard from 2004 and the Blizzard of now are very
basically
very
as the original higher ups from Blizzard left, more and more Activision, or at least people are led to believe, more Activision influences seeping in.
I saw Mark Kern commenting, the original lead guy for World of Warcraft, saying when he saw people starting to get when Blizzard basically went, we're like a big boy company now. We're an actual company, so these layoffs are just part of it. It's kind of like when he decided he wanted to go out and go indie. So,
yeah, it's unfortunate. That's kind of just the nature of the beast, you suppose. I mean, we've known they've had rumors about the layoffs and the talks of it since back in I think November last year.
Around BlizzCon.
Yeah, around BlizzCon, which, if you had watched BlizzCon or listened to our podcast earlier, did not go really spectacular for them at all.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the worst BlizzCons that has come around. They almost had nothing to really show off or talk about. The biggest thing was Diablo Immortal, and
I mean, honestly, they could have at least probably flown under the radar more if they had just presented some things better.
I think so. Unfortunately, they didn't, and that really bit them in the ass. As of November, and this is kind of one of the largest telling sides and most unfortunate. During October, from essentially between June 8th, 2018 to October 2018, they were fluctuating anywhere from between 70 to 80 on the NASDAQ. But around after just October and starting to get into November, that's when it just started to plummet like a man jumping off a cliff. Up until now, where they've gone from around 80, 70 to between 40 and 46 as the average. Yesterday took, obviously, not yesterday, Tuesday took a nasty hit.
That's
obviously
awful.
Yeah, it's pretty large. They've nearly halved their value, so to speak. Oof. So,
well, they also, I guess, or at least Activision, I believe, yesterday announced they had record profits.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Microtransactions, man.
It's kind of weird though, because like the current trend we're seeing from the dip, we don't know if it's going to go back up, because that October dip, like that's steadied out. That's like, as silly as it sounds, like around I'm going to say December and January, it's steadied out in the 40s, low, and like in the high 40s, low 50s, but it's always kind of been dipping down.
Yeah, it's just weird to report record highs, but but it didn't meet expectations.
Yeah,
and so they laid off a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's
but
the biggest
they also don't have any major games coming out this year.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to say, is that they haven't announced anything for 2019, which probably doesn't help them a lot. It would have been easier if they had something.
Yeah, I believe Activision Blizzard's president has confirmed that they have like no major releases this year.
Yeah. Hopefully they have some really good updates for the stuff that are coming out, and they find something.
I hope so for WoW.
Yeah, WoW it's been really rough across most of their major platforms. BFA has not done well.
Overwatch is in decline.
Yeah, Overwatch is decline. Hearthstone has been a slow decay for a while. It's kind of lost a bit of itself. It's kind of just unfortunate, because we're really, it's almost like we're watching what was once originally a very big and loved game developer kind of hemorrhaging, and there's not a lot of there's no bandages to apply to it, which kind of sucks to see.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to get back to the peak that they were, sadly.
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, as I think Blizzard put it best in Wrath of the Lich King, no king rules forever.
Zing!
I saw like two different discussions talking about like their peak. I saw one was around Lich King, and then the other one was like, or when I guess they started to decline. Everything after that, the other one was when they decided to make StarCraft 2 like 3 different, or split it up into like 3 games.
Yeah, that was really weird. Yeah, they think the problem is with the. So like, here's like the issue that I think with that idea in general, is that it almost starts to end up being like the DLC dilemma. The longer a game is out, the less people are going to buy DLC that comes out later. And with the game for StarCraft 2, a lot of people bought the first one, and then when the second one came out, not as many people bought it. And then I think what ended up happening for the last one is there was even less. I know, I could be wrong. That's only based on the time when they came out and the talk that I was seeing around it. So I haven't actually looked at the numbers, but that's what it sounded like. So I could be absolutely wrong. But it does follow into that DLC trend, and so if you split your large game into 3 pieces, it's probably not going to bode.
Like, I think general consensus, I think, is like the games have still been good when they put them out. Like, I think Diablo 3 stumbled, but ended up getting better by the end, or after like a year.
Yeah, Diablo 3 Diablo 3 had a pretty rough point with the harder difficulties. One of the biggest complaints was that there were literally memes and jokes going around that, like, you want to play a monk at hardest difficulty, here's what you do. First, you run through the game, and then when you're on the hardest difficulty, delete monk and make a wizard. So I mean, like those kind of jokes are running around all over the place. So, but they eventually did balance that out. And there's crazy builds nowadays that you can do with it. They've got tons of like set bonuses and other things and whatnot. It's pretty deep, just very RNG-ish. It's very
But yeah, I mean, like Hearthstone widely well received when it first came out.
Absolutely.
Overwatch well received.
Yeah.
Like
it's all been doing well. It's just it's not as
just
good.
the decisions
Yeah.
after have been
Yeah. BlizzCon was like the the glaring message that revealed that.
Yeah.
That info
right.
now.
Exactly.
That was kind of like we've
They're
always
just kind of
been
tone deaf as a company right now, especially
It was-
like that and WoW. Just them not listening to the WoW community at all.
Because I mean the BFA and the Azerite issue has been kind of like it was always been sort of there in Legion. It was all like it's just in a different form, but it's always been kind of a complaint of like how much grinding and some of the RNG that's in Legion.
Yeah.
And then when BFA came out, there's more RNG and there's a lot more grinding for very little success.
Yeah, the Azerite traits themselves are the big culprit there.
Yeah, it's as you stated. I think the icing on the cake, the point where somebody went up to the glass and finally breathed on it and rubbed away some of the dirt on it to look inside was BlizzCon, and that's kind of when the people noticed like, wow, they're not listening. So
I think the only thing they can really do, I think I'm sure StarCraft 3 would sell gangbusters and stuff and make their stock go back up some. Warcraft 4 would be huge, but they're never going to do that, I don't think. Because where would it fall? Like, where would the story fall? It would have to be like a really big prequel or like a much later game. Because they're not going to stop doing WoW. WoW is what keeps them alive as a company.
Yeah,
Or they'll try to reboot the whole timeline.
Yeah, it's got to be one of those.
Like a different telling of the tale.
Because, I mean, they're doing like the remastered, but I mean, that's literally just a remastering, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they could just do an actual remake.
Yeah.
But if they're doing a remaster, they're probably not going to remake it.
No, if the terminology's been getting more solid recently, but remaster is moving into the area of like you just take an old game.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They're not going to go ahead and remake it if they're right now remastering it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're remastering 3.
Yeah. You know what I think what also kind of makes this whole layoff such a big issue for a lot of people is the news of the CEO getting a 15 million bonus.
Yeah, again, tone deaf and bad timing. They should have not ever released that.
It's essentially just a twist of a knife that's already been kind of
doing the whole earnings report and layoffs at the same time probably not the best. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it makes the most financial sense. Or it might be just the switching of the fiscal year type stuff is why it happened, probably.
Yeah, maybe they're required to reveal his earnings too. It could be something like that. I don't know.
I know generally a lot of people do the fiscal year in October. So when you get around to that time and that information comes out, and then you've got the rumors of potential layoffs right as the fiscal information is being dropped, that's kind of like where, it's just little pieces of, just little blocks stacking up that are eventually going to fall over. And this, unfortunately, is just kind of coming to fall out. I mean, we knew, a lot of people knew this was coming. It's not like this is brand new, new. It's not, it's not like somebody swept the rug out of them. It's just, it sucks because we've been building up to this. And now that the numbers are out, a lot of people have been affected. I mean, 8% of a company is a pretty big chunk. Regardless of where they're being pulled from, that's a lot of people to just, have to let go. Which, I mean, it happens. It's business. People do get let go, and it's unfortunate, and it really does suck. But this has just been very rough for a lot of small things adding up. Or I guess not small, depending on who you're talking to, but it's enough that it's made this a very rough thing to deal with. So. It really sucks. I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know there's been. I know some people have been saying this is also a reason to unionize. Other people have been saying that's not really going to change anything if you did unionize. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert in that area at all, but I will say from just the experience that I've had dealing with companies and hire up with CEO and whatnot and so forth. Unions don't generally change. Too much in this realm. I've seen companies who have unions that are unionized and they still have large layoffs. It doesn't always save people for having it unionized, and it doesn't change really.
It's more the other stuff is.
Yeah, it's really the other stuff
they care about.
Yeah. So I mean, I for anybody who's shouting we should unionize for it, so other people saying damn the unions. it wouldn't have changed. It wouldn't have changed too much regarding this. You would still have the layoffs. It just might have changed how some of it was gone about.
Right.
It's more like severance package stuff, like guaranteed severance package.
Yeah, that's what I've seen people talking about for the stuff.
In which Activision did, or Blizzard, I guess, did give them severance packages. They got that.
Packages, so they got it regardless.
The letter promises that.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's
okay. There you go.
Hopefully they actually
follow through.
There are alleged severance packages in play. We cannot confirm or deny that a Blizzard ex-employee has received one or not.
Sir, from Daily Bugle, you noticed that you had severance packages in your paper. I'm not
putting
taking
that journalism degree to good work, right?
Exactly. I cannot confirm or deny that we have severance packages to give out.
Yeah, unions have just been kind of one of those things that has been slowly on the rise of talking about in the video game world.
It has.
Yeah, with voice acting and stuff too.
Yeah.
If I were to take a stab without any real knowledge information of going into the history of unions and the trends that follow them, with just the talk itself and how it continues to grow up, I'm almost guessing that it's probably an inevitability that eventually they're like.
I'm sure someday. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on my position on them here, but
but I can
because it tends to get political. But
yes, and don't want to get too delving into that, but I could see it happening, for better or for worse. I could see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, history of gaming in itself and gaming development has not always been the kindest to the developers. EA has pretty notorious.
Crunch is the number one.
Yeah, quote unquote crunch time.
Honestly, I think the big ones are generally the best about crunch because they have the capability, the staff numbers,
the resources.
It's usually the smaller ones. Like I know CD Red with The Witcher 3 was notorious, but it gets like a pass because the internet loves it.
Yep.
The company, so that sort of thing.
It's okay that they put their people through that rough crunch time.
Read Jason Schreier's book is actually pretty good about the world of game developing and stuff. Like
game developing is a rough world to get into. Yeah,
his book, it's a really good book.
What's the name of the book?
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
Oh yeah,
focuses on like the development of 10 different games.
Wow,
from indies to like AAA stuff. So
that'd be very interesting to read. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the big thing that's happened within the gaming world, at least this week, hopefully.
Yeah, it's like number one news story.
Yeah, hopefully, or maybe not hopefully, it'll stay quiet next week. We don't know. Sure. It does give us something to talk about, though.
But we need stuff to talk about. We need juicy drama.
More tragic things we need to happen, so we have something to talk about.
No, Wada came back and he died again.
Damn it, Wada. How could you do this?
Wada-san. It's Koizumi who dies now. Or Reggie. Reggie's in the hospital. He had a heart attack.
I know.
Bill Trinan lost his voice forever. He can't translate anymore. All my Nintendo... I need my puppets. I was hoping for a puppet in the direct, but what are you going to do?
I loved those puppet bits.
Yeah. Alright, let's get into Mao's topic, shall we?
Alrighty then. Well, for me, I want to go back to L5R.
To the future. No, I was wrong.
I was gonna say you were way off.
Maui, we're going back. That was more Rick and Morty, but okay.
I really was more Rick and Morty, but you know what?
Same thing.
We'll let it slide.
But anywho, L5R has, after like 6 months, has started releasing fiction. So it came out with a 3-part story.
I almost forgot what L5R was.
I know. What a great game.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Wink. I was winking at the mock if you can't see me, people. Or hear my wink.
In this very audio visual, the audience absolutely saw you winking.
I like how Mao is the one whose topic always gets severely segued.
I know, I'm sorry. We're sorry, Mao.
Go on, Mao.
No. Continue.
Your topic is my
I'm sorry, Mao.
Anywho. Where was I? I don't know.
L5R.
What about it?
Had
a lot of stuff has come out.
New stuff out. Fiction. Last 6
Did it now?
So,
Yeah, we got multi-part fiction.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
been
right.
good.
Yes.
They should do more of this.
Should.
So we've got to tie in with the Children of the Empire release. We got the Children of Bushido story, and it basically just focuses on the Emperor and his children with some extra scorpion flavor.
Because, you know, that's going to happen.
Smells like betrayal.
So where we last left L5R story was the Emperor's like, I'm getting old. I can't do this anymore with Tottori, and I'm putting out an edict. My firstborn is not going to lead.
Smells like Ivory Edition.
Yep. And Tottori's like, oh crap, how do I deal with this? So we come to this story, and we don't find out how he deals with it.
Not yet.
No. Instead, it opens with some dude named Joden wondering about his life. And then it's apparently Joden is actually Emperor Hante the, what is that, 38th? Gotta remember my Final Fantasy numbers.
They're not Roman numerals, they're Final Fantasy numerals.
Right. That's what they are.
Yeah, and he is playing Go with Bayushi Shouju. And which they use the game as some sort of metaphor for the Empire, as you know that can happen. He needs to make a big move in this game if he wants to, not lose, which ties into a certain big move he'd made in the last fiction, which is the deciding of his heir. And it's we get to see a bit of him talking with Shouju, and it's nice to see. They seem like friends, which
you get a lot of mirroring here when the past and the present, like the sons and the parents, and the third fiction really kind of lets you know this.
Mm-hmm. So they get to the point of talking about a duel that had transpired between their sons, or the Emperor's sons and Shouju's son got involved as well.
Yep. Sotori, Dasetsu, and Dairu.
Yes.
Yeah.
You keep track of the names because I'm bad with them.
I know them all.
Good. Yes, because it turns out the Emperor is having second thoughts on the edict. And then we get flashback. And it's Daitsu or
Daisetsu and Dairu.
Yeah,
Daisetsu and Dairu, Bayushi Dairu. And they are chilling out, being best friends. Just like the Emperor and Shouju.
They're engaged in a political duel, Mal.
Yes. They are having a contest on obscure
works of literature.
Law, right?
Yeah.
It was law, not literature.
It's obscure Rokugani laws that they're like grilling each other on.
I believe, the subject of torture comes up.
Yep.
It does.
Because that's what best friends talk about.
Obviously, I always talk to you, Mao, about how I would best get away with torture.
Right.
Well, if you're going to talk to the son of the Emperor, it might as well be about a taboo subject.
Yeah, right. What an honorable conversation to have.
But we find out Daisetsu has a very modern thinking on torture, in that it's not, the most reliable type of subject, which is, it's interesting, I guess.
Yeah, they tell you what they want to hear, essentially, is his position.
Right,
Yeah.
which is, like, generally something people have found out through more recent studies and stuff.
Mhm.
Like, it tends not to necessarily be the most reliable. But as far as Rokugan concerns, that's not very common thinking. And anyway, while all of this is going on, suddenly Satori,
Yep.
his other brother, yes, he barges in, and I don't know, just generally is being a dick, and wants to be included because he is the heir to the throne at this point.
Yep.
Still,
This is almost like the opposite of like Rudolph, where like he's not allowed like in reindeer games, but this Rudolph has like imperial backing.
Right. He's like, I get to do whatever I want. So
I will be in your reindeer games, and you will let me be in them.
Yeah.
Daisetsu's like, no, I'm fed up with you. You're just a giant asshole, and we were having a good time until you showed up, and no one wants to tell you how much of a jerk you are. And Satori is like,
basically every argument any pair of brothers have ever had.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Satori is like, you have insulted me. Now we must duel. Which.
And not at Mario
basically
Kart.
Like he's not wrong.
Yeah, no, he isn't.
He's just a dick about it, but he's not wrong.
He did learn from Satsume, so it makes sense. Satsume's the king of the honorable assholes,
right?
In L5R story lore.
I mean, you said it best. He's not wrong. He's been insulted. His whole character's been insulted. He says that everybody else thinks that he's a pain in the ass too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a heavy insult to throw in the Rokugani world.
Right. So he challenges his brother to a duel, and his brother is about to be like, "No, I'm not doing this." But Dairu speaks up and says, they are in the Scorpion household, and it is his responsibility, as is hospitality has been insulted, and he will be the champion for Daisetsu." And so then we cut to the dojo where Hante shows up himself, and Daisetsu tries to get out of it. But
he's very apologetic, but Hante says, you don't have to apologize, basically, unless you end up losing. You have nothing to be sorry for. The heavens will decide that.
The duel must go on. And so, but none of them have passed their Genpuku, so we're using wooden,
Boken.
Boken. No, Boten? No. Yeah, Boken. So
Botox. They're using Botox.
And I think it actually I think it the first story does conclude with the results, right? Yep. It is Dairu is much more skilled than Satori, which shown in previous fiction, Satori is not a good swordsman.
He has really high military skill in the card game.
Yeah.
It's really weird, actually, in regards to that, because he's apparently been trained by a very good...
the former Emerald champion, Doji Satsume.
They've shown some fiction with him being taught by a few people, I believe, and basically everyone just ends up letting him win.
Yeah.
Even though at times it's like, oh my god, I could have won this 500 times by now or whatever. Like he's so bad at it, but because he's the Emperor's son, they let him win. And then there's even one with, I think it's Daisetsu and his unicorn girl. I can't remember who her name is. They end up spying on him, and he just kind of because he's the what's the Imperial sword?
Kunshu.
Yeah, Kunshu. They spy on Satori, going to Kunshu and just kind of playing with it, basically flailing it around, trying to be all cool with it.
I'm the Emperor. I got the Emperor sword. Hey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because Satori is very fixated on becoming the Emperor. It's always very forefront in his mind. It's when I'm Emperor this, when I'm Emperor that.
I'm sure he's grown up having that told to him.
Yeah. He clearly desires it, to an extreme amount.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and but Dairu,
that's his ninja. That's Emperor. Become Emperor.
Become Emperor.
And Dairu easily beats him in the duel, bows to him, and then Satori's like, no, I'm not gonna bow, and basically tries to keep attacking him. And Daisetsu tries to stop him. Satori that is, and Satori still doesn't stop, and eventually the spoon like try to get in front of the action, and the Emperor's like, stop. And I believe that's where the first fiction ends.
Yep.
So part 2, we cut back to the beginning, basically.
But from a new perspective.
Right. This one, the second one, we get the same story, but this time it's from Satori's perspective. And he is still an asshole.
Yeah.
But they do a much better job of making you feel sorry for him.
Yeah. You get to see inside his head.
Right.
He's very clear. Like, I think what the best thing they did about him was that instead of just kind of being a jerk, is that he's just very insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, he really just wants a friend. Like, Daisetsu...
He needs to watch Toy Story, is what
he wants a brother.
Yeah, he wants to... Like, Daisetsu doesn't like him and goes off with Dairu. They have each other, and he has no one.
Yep.
And he just wants... Like, he just wanted to be included, which is why he inserted himself into the game. Mm-hmm. But he just did it in an asshole way.
Socially inept.
Right.
Yeah, essentially. It's like a very, very socially awkward individual who has power and no idea how to wield it in any shape or form.
Yeah. Like, he just... Somehow he missed, like, the... how to, talk around people Rokugani style. Like, how to, like, be tactful, basically.
Yeah, like,
instead he's just like, I will be the Emperor, do what I say. Which, again, he's not wrong. He's just an asshole about it.
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting is that if you think about it, there's at some point where he started growing up, and what probably led to this is that he kind of realized that he could push people around by being Emperor. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people just didn't really want to take the chance that since he's going to be Emperor one day, he might fuck me over because I'll still be around.
Yeah.
When he finally gets Emperor, if he remembers, like, I did something or said something that he shouldn't do. So, yeah, I'll just agree with him, and hopefully he'll turn out to be okay.
And he's not really had been served his slice of humble pie because everyone just lets him best him all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, he probably believes that he's, like, great and worthy of all this attention, even outside of just his place in the Celestial Order. So,
yeah, I think that was best shown with the fight that he was doing with the Miyamoto, is that she really let him win, or she let him continue to do things when he was clearly, had lost, and never really scolded on him or like pointed out that you're lost like 100 times. Okay, that one hit on me was essentially me just letting it happen. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been told that, so just kind of leading to him, kind of showing this thing. So he's very out of place in the samurai world, it seems.
Yeah. Oh, actually, in between the two viewpoints, it does cut back to Hante and Shoju again, still talking about just how basically everyone sees the world in their own way.
Yeah.
There's a world, everyone has their own world, basically. And that and the Emperor's like, can anyone see the truth? Like, what is or I mean, basically on a spiritual quest to enlightenment there, I think. But yeah, so they talk, and they Shoju is like, Satori is not going to be happy with this whole not leading the Empire thing, which I think everyone can see is definitely will be the case whenever he finds out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we see the same thing play out, and then in the third we get the end again of the duel, and yeah, he just there's like, some people are like, because you see you get, as you see through Satori's story, you see italicized text, which is like his inner thoughts. Some people are wondering if that's like if it's his voice or it's something to kind of influencing him, like if he's actually got an evil something talking to him. But yeah, he ends up like, basically when he won't bow to Dairu after losing and showing actual courtesy and whatnot, honoring,
Yeah.
Bushido and whatnot. He just still goes berserk. He's like, no, the heavens are wrong. I am right. All of this is just unfair. And and then again is stopped by his father. And then we cut back again once more to the Emperor and Shoju talking, and basically they just question what can be done with Satori. And Shoju's like, he's like getting real close to like, well, we could kill him, but he doesn't actually say it. But it's definitely there.
It's definitely there, yeah.
And the Emperor does not.
Or just send him far away.
Yeah, he doesn't pick up on, or I mean, he may have picked up on it. But
I think he does pick
that.
on it, but he's like, that's not. Let's for the sake of it, just say that he didn't. He's not meaning in that actual regard, and he's just being off out there. I mean, they stated the reason the issue is that because like Satori normally, for those of you who don't know, normally what ends up happening is that whoever would ascend to the throne, if they have any siblings and whatnot, they normally get married to a nice, wonderful Otomo husband or wife, and they live happily ever after in a nice, comfortable, cushy position. They essentially are assigned a superficial position, one that holds power and lets them control certain things, and makes their life super easy. But it takes them essentially completely out of the channel they need to really gain any full-on control or dealing with the throne in that regard.
Way out of the line of succession.
As Shoju puts it, to oblivion.
Yeah.
Or at least how he would see it.
Yeah, it's pretty much been sent off to oblivion.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is that Satori, as they state, and there's that, like, he would just never be happy with that. It would never sit well, regardless of what they do or what position they give him or what they say. He would just see it as
and we keep, and then from Emperor Hante's position, we keep seeing like he's just really tired of all of this. He's just done with everything. It seems like he's really ready to go.
He gives up the Go board, and more importantly, he gives up Rokugan to Shoju as the Imperial Regent. So so as stated earlier, the Go board is the ultimate metaphor for. So
he's like, I can't deal with it. You figure it out. And then he's like, I also leave, this is a very old Go board given to, Hante, looks like Hante 26 at a winter court from the Crane. I pass it on to you. And Shoju's like, no. And he's like, no, I'm too old for this shit. Let's pretend I've already offered it twice. Yeah,
they've done this like twice or thrice now in the stories where somebody's like, no, let's just pretend we did it and be done with it.
Right. Like, even the Emperor's
my favorite thing to roleplay, unironically. I'm not being facetious. I actually like coming up with creative ways to refuse gifts, but
yeah, it can be amusing, but it just gets tedious.
Yeah.
In tabletop, I think it's worse, but
unfortunately, it's probably done better in a story setting.
Yeah. Now, who knows what's gonna happen?
Theoretically, the next big story thing will be the proclamation.
Yeah.
Where do the pieces fall? They're kind of. Will they go with the Civil War thing?
Right. There's a lot of questions still about, like, I mean, we all thought this was going to be the fallout with the proclamation, that ended up happening.
A lot of nods to Scorpion loyalty. I like the and to the old story. There's the line that Shoju gives them about Scorpion loyalty when they're talking about Daru, basically like going, well, he's kind of like he was kind of like using your son to like get ahead a little bit. They're still friends or whatever, which is, like we are. And he's like, yeah, I know. And in the original story, Shoju is the one that kills Hante the 38th. So
it was
Scorpion loyalty goes very far. It's supposed to, anyways.
Yeah. It's a little amusing that he was using Dairu was using Daisetsu to get ahead, considering it was against at the time who he all would have assumed would be the actual emperor of Rokugan.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
So it ends up being fortunate for him. Like it endears him with.
Yeah, it could have been risky.
Yeah, but it's all possible that Shoju saw this coming from a mile away and told him. One thing I did like though is like Shoju's like, so how? Because the whole duel thing happened in the Scorpion estate and everything, and Shoju's like, how did you hear about it? Because the Emperor was there, like got to view the duel at the Scorpion estate, and Shoju was not. And he's like, so who told you about that? And he's like, does that bother you?
I thought that was like
master of secrets is not able, like I am able to learn things that happen in your house.
I thought that was probably my favorite moment in the whole fiction.
It's nice because it's so easy just to make the Scorpions like super Keikaku know everything.
Yeah, like 2 steps ahead of everybody.
Right.
And it was just nice to finally have like a fiction that kind of goes like,
it's probably Kachiko.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
It's probably not. It's not always. Well, whoever it was or however we found out. The point being is that, like, you know, there are people that are even in your territory that will talk to me over you, and you won't know.
Kachiko or her brother, one of the two.
Yeah. Possibly.
It's something Kachiko would do.
If they're there and they know about it, sure, I can see it. Or maybe it's just I would almost like to be that just there's somebody he just doesn't know. Some random person will never find the answer out to. That was just the one who told him. I like it though. All the same. No more Keikaku.
I mean, I'm sure Shoju has plans.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
Wheels within wheels.
I don't know.
An enigma inside of a box, inside of another box.
He would not actually want the regent's job necessarily, because I think probably because it puts him too in the forefront of things. Like
it might, yeah.
It's too like in the spotlight probably. But
yeah. But I mean, that's kind of a theme right now. Is the Scorpion is getting a lot of the spotlight.
We'll see if Ambition's whispering to him.
Yeah,
the old story.
Like I mean, but that's like the thing is, Kachiko has been constantly trying to do things that puts the Scorpion ahead. They almost cheated, cheat to try to get.
But it's like
probably murdered Satsume.
Like no. Oh, I guess you probably.
A lot of things are happening.
You can. I mean. They kind of explain what happened to Satsume and the adventure they put out for the RPG.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. And you're probably not going to like
if it didn't happen on screen.
What happened?
I ain't
what do they say happens?
So I mean, spoilers if you're going to play the.
I'm not
the pre-con. I mean, just for the listeners. But he started questioning because he could see that Satori was not going to work out, and he started questioning if he should actually be the next heir or the actual heir and whatnot. And he expressed these thoughts to a friend who ended up being Kolot.
Yeah.
And then and I guess he ended up starting, like, they started just trying to take, you know, Kolot's like, we should really try and get this Emerald Champion on our side. And then I guess he's like, oh, I figured out a solution without upsetting, you know, the balance of heavens or whatever. And that, I believe, led to the Kolot going, oh, we got to kill this guy now.
We can't have stability.
I hope that's not it. That's dumb.
But it does make sense.
I'm also biased against Kolot, so
right. That's why I said you're not going to like it.
You're not going to like it, yeah. I can see it though. If he comes up with an idea and the Kolot kind of want this vision to happen.
Yeah, because the Kolot were featured in the Emerald Empire as well. The book came out.
I hope the Kolot in FFG's hands do a little bit more.
I've seen some people talking about that, and they're like, they just hope they're less like mustache twirly villains and actually more of like a Yakuza branch or something, like type villains.
I almost kind of want them to have a little bit more of like pure goals, but they're kind of their ideal is pure, but they're more than willing to to create a very bloody trail to get there. I kind of almost want that as them for the Kolot, where it's like, yeah, we want, you know, freedom, we want people to not be ruled by, you know, mistreatment and whatnot, and then they're willing to actually burn down everything to get there. I kind of like that. I think that'd be a very cool collab because it brings up the argument of is like, how much is too much? How when does the ends justify the mean kind of stop?
Mm-hmm.
So,
but yeah, so now I'm curious to see how much they're going to deviate because we're still leading up to the whole Scorpion Coup, Second Day of Thunders type story. So I'm curious to see what route they take, and
I hope we
if
go
they're
elsewhere.
willing to go real big, like if they're willing to make real big changes or not.
Yeah, like I've actually enjoyed this trilogy just because of how different it is and how it set things up to go a different way. So that's been my favorite part.
They could
about
literally
it.
make Gotsu the head of or the next Hante Emperor.
Yeah. What
actually,
was Daigotsu, anyways?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, who was in the old
Dasetsu.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like where it's going though as a current because it doesn't feel very supernatural right now. There's been hints obviously at it, and it's gonna probably fall into the Second Day of Thunder because that's a very
eventually they're gonna probably introduce Fulang into things.
Yeah, but I've been liking it so far is that it's really just more of an issue of succession.
Yeah, it's very grounded in samurai drama.
Yeah,
I'm sure that the crab are dealing with supernatural crap, but outside of that, everyone's like,
exactly,
who's gonna lead?
Who's gonna lead? There's a leader.
And so yeah, we'll see if they actually split it up.
I'm wondering if it'll end up kind of like I wonder if they'll take more. I wonder if they'll stick more closely to like the War of the Roses, so to speak.
Right, you and your War of the Roses.
Don't look. I'm just saying it was a really good game. That tactics was amazing.
Game of Thrones.
So I mean, that's what this is.
Yeah, Game of Thrones is a good point of like why they're probably making it so political right now because how popular Game of Thrones is.
Yeah, I also think a lot of people just like this in general for Samurai.
Yeah, I mean, I like both, but
well, if I remember correctly, in the original series, one of the most loved parts of Rokugan was the clan wars.
Yeah, it was the most loved.
Yeah, there you go. It's ironically done. The one where like you're in Sengoku Jidai essentially is the one that most people love because people love Sengoku Jidai.
Right.
So
yeah, I like the supernatural stuff, but I do think the old game got maybe a little too much of it.
Maybe.
I didn't like the villain of the week part of it.
Right.
Yeah,
I like really supernatural stuff.
I love supernatural.
I just think they relied on it too much.
Yeah.
Like
I think
everything led back to some supernatural villain.
You know what?
Panku's when it jumped the shark.
Kind of. Yeah. You know what, honestly though, I think the problem is less that it had to do with being supernatural and the fact was that it wasn't done really that well. I think you stated it best, it was the villain of the week. Like, how many times can this freaking empire be put into peril by some natural, impossible force, and then some guy with a sword comes along, punches it in the face, and you go back to everything for the next week until the next dude pops up. It almost have to fly down to the moon and say, "Make my monster grow."
That's the reason a lot of franchises and stuff don't move their story along very fast because you run into a problem of you need conflict, especially when you're selling games about war and whatnot, right? Like games about conflict need conflict.
Yeah. And that's what L5R is. L5R does take a page from the idea of Dungeons and Dragons Pathfinders, that you're kind of on a hero's quest, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's done in a far more like ground gritty style and more spread out across a large area. But at the end of the day, we're on the hero's quest. The big bad guy is going to be Fu Leng. We're gonna kill Fu Leng. Everybody's okay for a while.
Yeah.
And that's the hero story.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed because I wanted to find out more about the whole proclamation, where it was going. And in general, I'm not a huge fan of flashbacks because they're always, related to the past and they don't actually further the current plot. But I did like these because
got insight into
the characterization was really well done.
Yeah.
They were written by D.G. Ladderout.
David Ladderout. Yeah, he's the guy who ran Winter Court since 2, I think.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, he was is it not Megumi, but the head GM. He was the one who reported to AEG during them.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name.
He wrote.
With them,
He wrote her father's daughter. The fiction.
Yeah, he does a lot of the Crane fiction in the new stuff.
A lot of people want him to do the Crane novella, which I didn't even know they had novellas, but I think there's like 3 of them out already.
Yeah, I think there's 2. The 4? Unicorn one's about to come one out.
Oh, that's it. That's for
pre-order. Usually, because Spooky's done a lot of the Phoenix stuff, so he wrote the Phoenix one.
Right.
Mari Murdoch did a lot of the Scorpion one. And it's pretty good. It's very supernatural.
About to come out.
Deals with ghosts and spirits.
Ooh.
So.
So I was saying that I wanted to know more, but I guess because they tie into the Children of the Empire, I believe Children of the Empire got delayed, so the stories got delayed, basically.
Yeah.
Because DG's been on the forums quite a bit, and he did mention today that, or on the topic of the latest story, which was the coiled snake, because it kept referencing Satori kept seeing his inner self, or like a coiled snake representation, which who knows if that'll come up again or be relevant. But he said that he had done these stories quite a while ago, and like I guess they haven't really stopped on the like, even with the delays, they haven't stopped making the stories, I guess, or something. So but so hopefully it won't be another 6 months until we get the next stories.
That would be
it's kind of
nice.
If I'm guessing they're just wanting them to, like you said, tie more into the release cycle for the product. But
right,
man, they should do more. There's kind of no excuse for there not to be more, in my opinion, with them having so many people on the story team.
Yeah,
it felt back when it was just Spooky and Sean in the old game, we got more fiction than we're getting now, and that was on a 2-man story team. So.
Yeah, there's probably, like, I guess they could do more side stories, ones that aren't
exactly, and that's what a lot of it was that you got.
Because I mean, they can't obviously jump ahead past the release boxes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would love to see more, because honestly, the story is the thing I like the most about this universe. Is like, the story, and then playing, making my own, like, via the role playing game or something. Like, I've never been into the card game, really. So I just want more story.
Story.
I just want more legally not Japan.
Legally, not Japan. We can't confirm or deny.
Overall, I dig these stories. I thought they were cool.
I thought they were good stories. I enjoyed them.
They've been well written.
They got me looking back at the cards, which I'm looking forward to the dueling stuff that's coming out.
Yeah,
I'm not getting back into it.
It's
fun to look at.
Good. The honor stuff is nice. It's really late, but it is nice to see that they're pushing forward. So, yeah.
I have actually seen lots of, like, the people on the forums all seem relatively positive about all, like, honestly everything about the card game, the RPG, even, and the story stuff. Like, at least, like, some, like, a lot of, like, communities will either be like, sometimes you'll just get a ton of people who hate everything but still stick around and, like, just kind of trash it, which I mean, at least that's not the case on the forums.
Yeah,
a lot of people just leave the groups. You'll see more of it in, like, the Facebook group and stuff, but it's even then, like, people kind of just, like, which I'm not a fan of, but that's a whole nother topic, but people kind of like just shame them into not, like, everyone's, like, becomes extremely defensive anytime anyone says something negative.
Yeah.
Because they think they're just trolling, when a lot of times they're not. Just trying to have, like, conversation. Like, it's almost verboten sometimes to talk about the old game at all.
Mm.
Because people start comparing them.
True, yeah.
But anyways.
I don't know. I liked at least the story. I mean, the RPG was, like, whatever. I would play it if other people were, and then I'm not going to play the card game. But I like the story.
Yeah. The art's still the best thing about it.
It is got good art.
Then the story after that, then everything else. Then probably the card game and the RPG. I just don't like the RPG, but Anyways, shall we get on to my topic?
Sure.
I think so, sir.
All right. We had a Nintendo Direct yesterday on 2/13, and I'm gonna run through my bullet points of all the news, and we'll talk about if there's anything we're excited about. So first up,
there were a few.
Yeah, this was a really good Direct in my opinion, one of the better ones in recent memory. So the first thing off, we got Mario Maker 2 is in June 2019. They've added the much desired slopes. For those who don't know what Mario Maker is, you can basically design your own Mario courses in game and share them with people online and play other people's courses. So for very creative people or people who just love Mario platforming, this is kind of like the perfect game that just gives you content and doesn't stop. Very popular Twitch game.
Mm-hmm.
And in the speedrunning community. So they had some new cat suits. You can play as like Luigi and Toadette, I think were the two they showed. So there will probably be other characters. So I don't really care for the game that much, but it's coming out in June 2019. They talked about the Smash Ultimate 3.0 update in spring, and they said Joker will be out by the end of April, the first payable DLC character. And they've also got Snake, Simon, Pokemon Trainer, Ivysaur, and Squirtle amiibos coming out before around 3.0, I think. So for those who want amiibo, those were the amiibos announced. And the only ones touched upon. We didn't really get that much amiibo news.
No.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is in summer 2019. Meh. Box Boy and Box Girls on April 26th. Also meh. Just a lineup of puzzle stuff here. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker update for those who care about that. The game looks cute, but I'm not interested.
Now you can co-op the whole thing, and then they came out with some paid DLC.
Yep, they've released a free update with the co-op and the 5 new DLC courses. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night's coming in summer 2019. I wasn't sure if that had been confirmed for Switch or not yet.
Yeah, and they showed off, I guess, like, it's a new trailer, I assume.
Yeah, you can, like, customize, I can't remember her name, the main character.
You can be blue!
Mao's really excited about being blue.
Blue!
We got Dragon Quest Builders 2 is coming on July 12th. You get some cool stuff if you own the previous title on the Switch. I think you get, like, the hero's costume from that. This was a big one. Dragon Quest 11S, which was rumored. I don't know if it had been confirmed yet or not. I can't remember.
I believe they had confirmed it.
It's fall 2019. So we get some added orchestral music. You can switch between the HD graphics and the 16-bit that was on the 3DS version that came out in Japan. You can switch between English or Japanese audio, and they're adding new storylines for the party members. They become like the central focus of their little own plot lines.
Square Enix said they're not sure if they're actually going to add this to the PlayStation 4 version.
I saw them talking about that today. So, like,
want the orchestra.
It doesn't behoove Square to do that if you want to sell new copies of the game. So
yeah, I don't want to buy a Switch copy.
At least the story part, like the other stuff. I can see them not doing the 16-bit stuff. Maybe the orchestral music and the dual audio, I could see them adding. But
yeah, I just want the music and the story. Really,
yeah.
But
I'll end up getting it eventually.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sure.
will.
Yeah, I'm a sucker. What are you gonna say? All right, we got. This is the weirdest, which I didn't even know was a thing. Disney Tsum Tsum Festival.
Yeah.
Which looked like a weird gotcha game thing to me at first, but it's like a mini game
with weird little Disney things
that I assume are big in Japan.
Yeah, with a name like that.
Yeah. It's coming out sometime in 2019. Not super interested in that. Starlink's getting an update where they're adding Peppy, Falco, and Slippy to the game. Some new missions that feature like some of the Star Wolf team characters coming out in April. This was a surprise because I didn't even know this game existed beforehand. Rune Factory 4 Special later this year. Rune Factory was one of my favorite DS series. And I thought they just stopped making them. I never knew they made a 4 a few years ago.
They did stop making them, but it was 4 that they stopped with making them. Because 4 was like in 2012, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what you said last night. So 7 years ago, Holy moly, I didn't even know there ever was a 4, and it's getting put on Switch. And they also announced that Rune Factory 5 is in development. So the series is coming back. This is a great, chill game to play.
Mm-hmm.
Rune Factory is basically a Harvest Moon game. So,
or it's close to, was it Stardew Valley? Also,
yeah, it's that type of game where you manage a farm and do day-to-day activities and stuff. But you also has a dungeon crawling aspect where you can take some of your party members.
Stardew Valley as well.
Yeah, so you can do stuff like that. So it's not just like the life sim stuff.
Right.
It's got waifus. It's got lots of good characters. It's great. I love that series.
You gonna get 4S?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I didn't even know that game came out. So
yeah. And then Lily,
that's a must buy. Yeah, Meta's wife is
real
a big Rune Factory fan.
Lily likes Rune Factory a fair amount. She's actually thinking about streaming it. So
yeah,
I was like, "That's a very long game to stream."
Wars!
Yeah, that happened a few times. It's like, I don't know if we're streaming this.
Yeah, that was
okay.
The problem, so the problem with streaming when you don't stream every day though is that means you're kind of dedicated to playing that game now in very small, slow chunks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Next is a game that I'm tepidly excited for. I said tepid. That's probably the wrong word. I'm pretty excited for it. Oninaki, a new Squeenix game.
Yeah, this
game developed by Tokyo RPG Factory.
It looks visually looks.
Yeah, the style aesthetic is very cool.
It's got some stuff going for it that I'm kind of looking forward to.
It's got a light world, dark world thing going for it. It's an action game, which all the other Tokyo RPG games have been kind of Chrono Trigger-esque. I did not play Lost Sphere. I played I Am Setsuna, and I loved that game. So
I don't remember what they called it. Was it like a Watcher or something? But you collect sort of the lost souls because there's a continuous cycle of rebirth, and you have to go get the ones that have gotten stuck. I think and haven't gone through reincarnation type thing, and those can affect your combat abilities.
Yep. You know what it is? It's just more JRPGs on the Switch, which is what I said I wanted to see out of this.
And then we saw them.
Yeah,
you did. You got exactly what you wished for.
Got a bunch of them. So we got Yoshi's...
For $1 million.
Yeah, you did. We got Yoshi's Crafted World, has a demo out now. That game's coming out in a month.
Looks cute.
March 29th. Yeah, it looks cute. I've seen a lot of speedrunners actually talking about it. It apparently has really cool tech in the game. People have already been just speedrunning through the demo. There's all kinds of neat stuff you can do with eggs and some of the platforming physics.
See, it's always games like that always surprise you. Like when suddenly a community is like, "Did you know you could speedrun the shit out of this thing?"
There's a trick where if you within 3 frames of jumping, if you tongue a solid object, or I think you might have to swallow an enemy, you'll immediately propel Yoshi downward on the floor.
Really?
So you can short hop up obstacles because he's very floaty in all of his platforming games.
Oh wow!
If you short hop and tongue an enemy, then you can just instant fall, quick fall basically.
That's
so and he has a much faster walking or running speed. So anyway, it's crazy that they're already figuring out movement tech for this game. Here was the big one, which Mao was the most excited for. Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Yeah, baby.
Has a release date. July 26th.
It's all I've wanted out of the Switch since they've announced it, basically.
It's the first console Fire Emblem game we've had since the Wii one. Was it Radiant Dawn?
There were 2 on the Wii?
It was one of the Ike games.
The 2 Ike games are the console ones.
Yeah. July 26th.
Not gonna lie, I might actually pick that up. I really like the idea of being a teacher who then sends off students
to die.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I kind of want to be one of those. I want to play as the teacher, but I want to be one of those teachers where the young girl with the axe. She sends me a really long text, essentially explaining why she needs more time for a paper, and I just go, "Okay, no problem." Sent from iPhone.
Yeah.
I just want to be that teacher.
Send your waifus and husbandos out to die in glorious combat against some evil empire.
Sitting behind my desk grading papers as they're dying on the battlefield. He's getting an F if he comes back.
It might not be an evil empire this time. It looks like it might be an evil church.
Yeah.
So they've revealed a lot about the lore and the story. There's 3 nations.
There's 3 houses.
Yeah, and there's
All
3 great houses, and the heads of the upcoming, like basically the heirs to the 3 great houses are all attending this military academy or officer academy, and you get to pick one that you ally with, I believe.
Yeah, it says
Basically.
you choose one, but we don't really know what that choice informs yet.
Exactly. That still not a lot of gameplay stuff that we've seen. I'm sure we'll get
we've seen
some more stuff before it comes
looks
out.
like there might not be the traditional classes and class like rank ups type stuff. Like
Yeah,
there's like
it's
a
lots
testing
of,
system.
Yeah.
There are now like claw fighters is a new weapon type. It looked like that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought they were Tonfa at first, but then
visually,
it's
like the characters all control like a battalion type thing. Which is interesting. Yeah, it looks cool. I like it.
It's very pretty looking too. So
yeah.
I like the character designer.
I will get it
for Fire Emblem. So
I will play it. I mean, I would have. All you have to tell me is, hey, there's a Fire Emblem game out, and I'll be like, I'm gonna buy it.
I'm super excited to play it, and I'm Team Edelgard all the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel bad for the other 2 houses because
the blue lines and the gold deer.
I think most
I can't
people
remember
are on
what was
Team
Edelgard's. Were they red eagles? I can't.
Yeah.
She's like, I
some
don't care
kind of
about her house name. It's just there's my waifu. So there you go. That's what I'm focused on.
You get this game, and it ends up there's better waifus than another one. You're gonna regret that.
It's gonna be hard. There's gonna be, like I said, there's gonna be a red-headed Pegasus knot, and I'm just gonna segue.
And it's gonna be trash because they always are.
The only one that's trash, sir, is the one in Fates. The older sister. So there you go.
I hate Pegasus.
Then you get a red-headed Pegasus not husbando. You've had too many Pegasus riders get snapped, haven't you?
No, I don't know why, but I hate horses. But
you like the unicorn.
Characters who ride horses. I know, it's my great internal strife for the unicorn clan.
You're so contrarian to yourself, Mao.
Right. But I don't know why, but I hate mounted characters, basically.
I think what makes it doubly worse is that those Pegasus Knights are just so susceptible to those
that random bow. You forget about that one archer, and he proceeds to murder 3 of your characters.
Honestly,
I was gonna just say I actually hated using them even in the older games. For the little I have played of them, I hate using them because they're weak to 2 units. They're weak to anything that's strong against spears, and then they're weak to anything that shoots bows. So they're always weak to 2 types of units. It makes them really dangerous to send them anywhere.
My favorite ones are Hinoka and Shigure, just because they use Naginata, and my love of Naginata is just strong enough to
get you a little bump.
Right.
All right. A very big surprise, which I've heard lots of good things about. Is Tetris 99,
where are we
otherwise known as Tetris Battle Royale.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this game. I cannot wait for it to drop and start collecting my
well, it's out now.
Everybody.
Oh yeah, it's out now for free.
It's a Switch exclusive. For now, you just at least have to have the online service. So it's not really free, but you get it with your service.
This game is quite literally.
I'm probably going to watch someone stream it at night because everyone who streamed it was like, "This is dope." You can choose.
Actually had 8 multiplayer Tetris, so this is just a large expansion of that.
Yeah, you can. It's like Tetris Attack basically, where you can attack other people and find the weaklings and pick them off, and it's just you left on the lone hill.
I saw someone's comment. It was like, other battle royales only get to ask where we drop in once. This one, you get to ask that question.
That's the whole game.
Of time.
It's the whole game.
The whole game is about dropping in.
All right, we got a stream of ports. Some of these won't be ports, but towards the end they put a lot of them out. Dead by Daylight's coming out in the fall. Deltarune Chapter 1.
It does not.
In a
Dead
few
by
weeks.
Daylight does not look that
No, it doesn't.
good. I'm hoping that was just for presentation purposes.
The frame rate looked awful.
The graphics
It looked like it had to
was
take
bad.
a huge graphical hit.
Yeah.
just everything
Performance
had
hit
to be
across
hit.
the board.
Yeah, just everywhere. That's
That had to
rough
have been
to
a
get
rush
over.
for it.
Yeah.
Damon X Machina, still summer 2019. Did they say there's a demo this
demo's
weekend
out.
for that?
Yep,
Yeah.
demo's out today or yesterday.
I'll be playing that this weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab it this weekend.
Grid Autosport. I don't know if this was a port or not.
No
It's
idea.
a racing game. I don't like racing games. Summer 2019. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is in spring 2019. Mortal Kombat 11, April 23rd. Unravel 2, March 22nd. Assassin's Creed 3, remastered May 21st. Final Fantasy 7, which people have been waiting for forever, is 3/26. Final Fantasy 9 came out last night. And Chocobo's Dungeons, Everybody or
March
Everybody.
2nd.
The best part of it was Chocobo.
It's March 20th, I thought.
Oh, the link you gave me says March 2nd.
Okay, the link's probably right. I was annotating from the Switch. Or the presentation. Yeah. I'm going to end up buying Final Fantasy 9 again when I'm ready to play that again. Google
says the 20th, so.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. They probably just left the 0 out then.
Yep.
Out of that giant run, the Final Fantasy ones are the ones I'm most excited about. I want to actually get Chocobo's Dungeon because I've heard those games are really good. They have like the job system and stuff.
The Chocobo's Dungeons, I played the original one back on PlayStation, and during that time, it was actually a really good game. Very fun. They generally, I played the one I think for the Wii. Was it? It had to be for the Wii. It was okay. I felt a little bit more grindy, but I enjoyed them. They're very simple. You get to play as essentially start off as a basic freelancer, so to speak. And then you get to unlock the jobs that give you extra abilities and kind of because the way the map works is that if you move on the map, everything moves as well. At least at the time, for those games, they moved as well. So if you move space, they move space. So you could manipulate those spaces and utilize the abilities from different classes that target different spaces with different effects to do damage to a target before actually getting up close and attacking them and trading off with them.
Yeah, so I just love the job system.
Yeah, the job system is very fun in the game. They are very true to the job system. It's very fun, and it's a very simple game. Very nice.
Yeah, so out of all those, that's the stuff I'm excited about the most from the ports. Then we got two big ones at the end of the show. The first one was a new Platinum Games project, Astral Chain. Just coming out on 8/30. This one looks pretty sweet.
Platinum's fun.
This looks... At first, I thought it was God Eater 3, or like a side God Eater game.
But it lacked the giant monster hunter type weapons.
I saw a lot of people saying they thought it was Xenoblade X2 as well, just because of the design and the world and stuff. It looks cool. You have like a weird animal buddy on a chain that you fight with.
Demon type thing or something.
Yeah, and you have like a twin. And you fight monsters, and it looks very actiony in the vein of not quite like as fast as like your Devil May Cry's or your
it's not it's not
Bayonettas,
like Bayonetta, but
it's more like a Kingdom Hearts 2 level of action.
Which they briefly were like, "We know you want Bayonetta." They're working.
We're working on Bayonetta 3. We don't have anything to show yet, so that's probably next year. They didn't, to a lot of people's chagrin, they didn't mention anything about Metroid Prime 4. Oh, yeah. Which is understandable because it just recently changed hands of developers.
Right.
People also wanted Metroid Prime Trilogy for the Switch, so maybe we'll see it at E3. But I was super excited for this last one, Link's Awakening remake, 2019.
Yeah, full remake.
Yeah,
in 3-ish D.
Yeah, everything looks like toys, which I find kind of cute. At first, I was like, the art style's kind of grown on me when I went back and rewatched the trailer, though.
It reminds me of those, I put a link in somewhere.
Yeah,
it was like Rudolph the Red-Nosed reindeer type movies.
The old Christmas, yarn stop-motion movies.
Yeah.
I just love this game. It's my favorite 2D Zelda, easily by far. Get blown away, Link to the Past fans. I'm calling you out. Minish Cap fans too. I love Link's Awakening. It's great. A lot of people think they're doing some quality of life stuff too. And really, the worst thing about Link's Awakening was that you only got 2 item slots, and your sword and shield would take one of those up. So if you wanted to go pure sword and board, you couldn't use like your hook shot or your bombs. In this one, they think the shield and the sword are going to be routed to different buttons, and you'll actually get like 2 extra item slots. So more like your traditional Zelda game, which is a good quality of life improvement. Music in this game is fantastic. The story is like one of the most meaningful and like actually like not relevant to the whole plot as well, but like kind of like it has a weight to it.
It's kind of its own thing.
Yeah, it's its own thing. It's a side story.
Saves Zelda thing.
Yep, Zelda's not in the game at all. It got a cool anime opening scene remade too. The opening cutscene to the Game Boy game is fairly infamous, where he crashes the boat in the lightning storm, and they did a little anime version of it. So I'm super excited for this. This is instant buy. Like, if they were going to remake any Zelda game, this is the one I would have wanted them to do. So I'm super happy. Yep, it's got lots of Mario stuff. It's got Goombas, Piranha Plants, Chain Shops. Because this was only the 3rd Zelda, or the 4th Zelda game. So, it was after Link to the Past. I think this game actually is supposed to take place after Link to the Past.
Link's Awakening began as a port of A Link to the Past.
Yep, that's right. So yeah, and that was what they ended on, and man, there's a lot of stuff. A lot of people were worried about 2019 for Nintendo.
I'm looking forward to like more than 2 games, which most I can say of any Nintendo Direct for the Switch I've ever had.
Yep. I'm going to get Oninaki. I'm going to get Fire Emblem 3. I'm going to get both of the Rune Factory games. I'm going to get Link's Awakening. I'm going to get all the Final Fantasies. Like, I'm going to get Daemon X Machina more than likely.
Most of those, so.
I'm going to get Astral Chain probably. I want to see more still, but I'm excited about that, to see more of it. It's going to be a good year. We're not going to have all the classic Nintendo IPs that people wanted. People really wanted Metroid Prime 4, but hey, you know what? You need some new IPs, and people complaining about no new IPs for Nintendo. What are you talking about? That argument's whack. I'm just telling you right now.
I don't really like any old Nintendo IPs except for Fire Emblem, so I'm happy with it.
And that's even a more recent one, at least for the States.
Yeah.
Way to get those till
I've been
the 2000s.
playing it since Game Boy Advance.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for Nintendo stuff. This is one of the better directs they've had. No 3DS. 3DS was not mentioned. It's dead, Jim.
Yep, this was the first major direct that did not feature the 3DS.
I mean, but we kind of, like we said, we've talked about this 100 times, but we kind of knew this was going to be the place.
Yep,
it was going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now just give me Bravely 3. That'll all but confirm it. I know that studio's working on something new.
Bravely 3 on the Switch.
Oh, I'd love it. Because, man, just going back to the job system. Job system's just so good. We need more games with the job system.
You need to play Dragon Quest VII if you have.
Yeah, I know. That's one I have not played.
There is
1 through 3, 8, and 11.
There's a normal job system, and then there's a job system for monsters, or that revolve around monster jobs. It's got a lot going on.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I think we're at a good wrapping up point here.
Yeah.
This has been episode 75 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. Check us out on Twitter at Twitter Podcast5R, Facebook P5R Podcast, Meta and Lily stream. Y'all are still playing RE2, I believe?
Yeah, we're doing RE2. We're going through Claire B right now, but we'll soon be going through what is considered to be the canon story afterwards, which is Claire A and Leon B.
True ending.
Is Lily gonna play anymore? Or?
Hazard.
She'll play more. We just haven't decided what we want to do because unfortunately the way we started off is that Lily played Leon and I played Claire, but I kind of want to play the A story because I enjoy that version of it a little bit more. But that would mean I end up playing as Claire again. But then if I play as Leon, I played the B story again. So
I see.
So we're not sure yet. We haven't decided how we're gonna really
just
do
flip
this.
a coin.
It's just it's definitely there's a bit of a difference between the two pilots.
Yeah, there's definitely just a tad bit.
Yeah. All right, everybody, enjoy or we hope you enjoyed your Valentine's Day, I guess, and we'll be back next week potentially, maybe not. I don't know. We know Tets won't be here, and it just depends on game news if we got something. So.
Yep.
We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Later.
Say bye, Mal.
Bye, Mal.